idea is every time you're escaping, you want to escape as early as possible. You guys heard me say that a lot. And the reason is the earlier you recognize you're in trouble, the earlier you try to escape, the easier it is to escape. Okay, I've been kind of repeating that a lot. I just want to make sure you guys kind of really hone in on that principle there. And as far as the triangle escapes we look at tonight, I've probably seen 30 to 40 different triangle escape variations since I've been grappling. So I'm just showing you what I like to do. I'm not saying everything else is wrong. I'm not saying everything else won't work. It's just what I do, and it kind of fits in the way I grapple. If you learn a different triangle escape that you like better, that works well for you, it's awesome. I'm just kind of giving you guys a taste of what works for me. So if you walk out with anything from this class, if you like a different triangle escape, that's fine. Just keep the principle in mind of escape as early as possible. All right. So the first triangle escape we're going to look at is going to look pretty silly. So Mike's going to begin here. He starts controlling the wrist. So when Mike goes to pin a wrist here, I'm going to pin a wrist to my stomach. Yep. He starts elevating his hips to finish this, to start setting a triangle here. Go ahead and bring triangle up. Okay. Whenever he does this triangle, I want to escape before we get here. So as soon as I feel a wrist pin, he starts to bring, I want to posture up. Then pummel back in, get both hands inside control. It seems like a silly drill, but it's actually this is your best triangle escape right here. As soon as you feel his hips start coming, posture, hips forward, come back. So he's bringing your butt up, looking to the ceiling, pummel back inside, control those legs. As soon as he sucks me in, it's game over, okay? So as soon as it comes up, posture, 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 up, up, up. Both hands back inside. Good, right? Seems silly, but it's actually going to be your most effective option. So if you don't have that instinct in your head to recognize those hips coming up, anytime those hips are coming up, you want to get away from them, push them back down, get back inside. All right? So let's just do 3 to begin with. That's more of the guard defense kind of stuff we'll look at another time. So so the next stage we're looking at, Mike has his ankles crossed, but his legs aren't quite figure 4 yet. So he's here. He's got his ankles just crossed on my back. Right? He's just in a position where he's starting to get close to this triangle. He's not tight, deep figure 4 yet. My arm's not all the way across. Go ahead and tighten it up. And I'm not in this figure 4 position yet, okay? It's not quite terrible for me, but it's getting a little bit worse. You're going to cross triangle. Show you guys. Okay. So in this position here, he's got control. And he's working closer to your triangles. I need to get out as soon as possible, okay? It's a little bit worse for me, but it's not terrible yet. So what I'm going to do in this position, I'm going to do is called the telephone, all right? And I say that because you put your hand here like you're on the telephone. You need to think like ring, ring, triangle is for you. You know, just whatever you got to do to remember it, all right? So you're getting here, just grabbing your own head right here. This is going to be a grapple with your bones kind of thing. I'm making a structure here with my elbow. My elbow is pointing out. My other hand is going to come over and grab his, just reach across and grab his hip here. I'm putting this elbow on the mat, all right? Now notice how my elbow is leading my head. I don't want to go like this. I don't want to fold over it. Keep this elbow out nice and far ahead of me. Nice structure here. I'm using this frame of my wrist to keep pressure. Now here, I got space on my neck. There's no pinch on my carotid artery here, which is what's going to happen if this arm ends up all the way across. He pinches my own shoulder into that carotid artery. That's what's going to put me to sleep. But his hamstring here pinches my other one. So here I'm keeping this nice and open so I can breathe. So I'm coming over, grabbing his hip so he can't follow me. I'm just going to lean in. Out. Okay. Boom, structure, grab my head, telephone, grabbing the hip, put the elbow on the mat, circle away, come out. So I'm tracing a big arc. Just way around with this. Telephone, hip, here. Listen all the way down. Drive nice and heavy shoulder pressure into this leg. Does that make sense for everybody? You're always going arm inside, question is. It's always your inside arm is going to grab his leg. You're going to go here, grab your own head here. And then the outside arm can come over. So the inside arm is always answering the call, right? It's really hard to answer the call here, the leg's blocking it. Okay? Does that make sense? Somebody's laughing, so that helps. Give that a shot, guys. So we went from being able to posture up, then Mike just had his ankles crossed. Now Mike's starting to figure 4 things a little bit. So what's going to happen is, I'm going to be here. This telephone, once I'm inside, is always my first line of defense. So go lock my feet up nice and tight. Good. So my telephone's always my first line of defense. I go boom, I'm just not getting, he's controlling enough here that I'm not able to get this telephone going out here. So what I'm gonna do, my inside arm, my telephone arm, I'm gonna reach forward, I'm gonna get his shoulder here, come up to my feet, and connect my elbow to my knee, here, right? So now in this position, I'm making a nice structure. I got this hand on the shoulder, and I got my knee right against his hip, nice and tight. It's gonna make pressure here. Now I can push down and start coming up out of this. All right, so the idea is, I'm kind of reverse engineering his triangle. He wants his hips to come up to my neck, so I'm gonna put some things in the way to keep those hips from getting higher. So in this case, it's my knee on the hip. This is a Saulo Romero triangle escape. Go here, I go telephone first, boom, can't get it, up, knee in, start posturing up here, okay? Let's keep nice, strong structure. Now your instinct's gonna be to turn away from this. Don't do that. Just put yourself right in an omoplata. And then you're making things harder for you, so go straight up. Boom, here, ring, can't get it. Knee in the hip here. Everything's nice and tight. Keeping everything nice and strong here. I'm straightening my back, starting to posture up. Now notice my knee is right on his hip, right in his ribs here. That's important. If my knee's out, he's just gonna adjust his hips. Just climb his hips back up. Yeah, that's not gonna do any good. Ready to go, boom. Right in here. Posture. Hip forward, come out of it. Right? That makes sense, guys? So remember, you're always going telephone first. You're always hitting it and bouncing back out of it, going over that far shoulder. Yeah. So with your right hand, the hand is free. The question was, can you use it to pry and push? Yes. Go for it. As long as you're balanced. The triangle's getting tighter and tighter and tighter, so your escape is a lot more physical, it's a lot more difficult. So to me, these are the highest percentage escapes in those different degrees of difficulty, right? Does that make sense? But they're still going to be difficult to execute. So once you get to this last escape, it's kind of your Hail Mary. This is your last ditch effort. You try it, and then you either go to sleep or down. Okay, the sleep's getting pretty bad at this point. So this last one we're looking at, Mike's got a cinch pretty tight. But I'm trying all my escapes first, okay? So here, I go, boom, look for this telephone. I come up here, I look for this, but it's just way too tight, and I'm starting to go black here. So I'm actually going to go back into my telephone, okay? I'm going from this like Saulo stand-up position into a super telephone. So I'm going to go boom, boom. I'm going to use my weight and my momentum to rip out of this, okay? So I just basically throw myself back to the mat as I'm telephoning out, okay? So disclaimer here, let's do this one more time. Try this kneeling telephone, not working, boom. I'm in, it's just, I'm not getting in, maybe his hips are too good, it's just already too tight. So I go back across, telephone, here, coming out. Coming down nice and hard, a lot of momentum, a lot of pressure here. So when you do this with your partners, please don't do it full speed. Let's get used to coming down on it, because this is one that, where you don't have to, I don't want you guys hurting each other. It's really easy, somebody's hanging onto a triangle nice and tight, you start slamming them, their back is twisted, their knees get twisted. This is a competition escape. Or if you're in the cage, this is a cage escape, right? It's not something you're doing in the gym very often. You're a lot better looking back and thinking through the match where you went wrong, you end up in the triangle in the first place. Rather than perfecting your super telephone, you should be thinking about what got you there to start with. So go ahead and play with this a little bit.